it's true, you have everything you need? What if it's true, you can live your wildest dreams? Will you run and hide or go along for the ride? Test the current and tide in the ocean of possibilities. What if you knew? What if you knew? What if you knew that the brilliance you're mining is you? What if you knew? What if you knew that the infinite's thriving is you? What if it's true that there's never need for shame? What if it's true that there's power in your pain? Will you run and hide or go along for the ride? Test the current and tide in the ocean of possibilities. What if you knew? What if you knew? What if you knew that the brilliance you're mining is you? What if you knew? What if you knew that the infinite's thriving is you? Shadow and light, yin and the yang are all part of you. Past is the past, we all make mistakes. It isn't your truth. What if you knew? What if you knew? What if you knew that the brilliance you're mining is you? What if you knew? What if you knew that the infinite's thriving is you? What if you knew? What if you knew that your soul's so much larger than you? What if you knew? What if you knew your design is divine? Yes, it's true. What if you knew? What if you knew? Oh, what if you knew? What if you knew? What if you knew?
Thank you all.
Good morning, heart and soul. And thank you, my brother, Dr. Jamie. Thank you so very much for planting that powerful, powerful seed, the question of what if you knew. Part of the lyric says, what if you knew the brilliance you're mining is you? What if you knew the infinite's rising in you? The shadow and the light, the yin and the yang are all part of you. Brother Jamie, you better write, baby. The past is the past. We've all made mistakes. Those mistakes, though, he says, are not your truth. What if you knew? What if you knew that right now, the life that we're living with everything in it, every experience we've had, that brought us to our knees, that troubles us, that excites us, that inspires us, that brings us joy. What if we knew it's all an adventure in faith? What if we knew, just in terms of contextually, that whatever it is we're going through, whoever we've been through it with, yeah, that too. What if we knew that all of that is for our highest and best? Now, don't rush to judgment. Don't try to come up with that while you're in the throes of it. Learn it now so that you are riding that while in the throes of it. Does that make sense? You see, sometimes my sense is that we don't do the practice. So we only have an idea. It's like a note that we put on a Post-it somewhere. And then something happens and we're like, I know I have that on a Post-it. And off we go digging, and we're like a cartoon character where you know how they do that, and you look at the pile back here, it's the kitchen sink, it's the everything back there. But the idea is that to the extent that we practice, we drill it in. We drill it in, and as we are going through something, that is also present. And present in a way that we can benefit from that awareness, from our knowing, because it's right there. It's not on a hidden Post-it somewhere. In this way that we're practicing, it is literally written on our hearts. So rather than, why me, Lord? This is an adventure in faith. I see you. I see your hands on this. I see your presence in him, in her, in them. I see, because what? I've been practicing seeing. And so in the pinch, athletes know this. You must practice whatever the sport is, so that as the thing unfolds, you don't just all of a sudden decide you're going to hit a 3-shot, having never hit one. There's a practice, and then there's a moment of knowing this is a moment where I can use this. This is a moment where I can employ what I've been practicing. Oh, Father, Mother, God, this life is an adventure in faith. And it's exactly what Zen Master Sono offers us. Thank you for everything. I have no complaint whatsoever. And that's not because I can't complain. That's not because I like it all. That's not because it all seems to be unfolding in my favor. It's because I know I can't afford to. That whatever I spend my time and energy on, I ground into my consciousness. I impress it ever more deeply. And so I cannot afford to live a life of complaints, regardless of how life is unfolding. Be like, complaint, you better get thee behind me. Because I cannot afford to spend my time and energy in that, yes? Yes. So in the month of August, and this is our last Sunday, which amazes me, because next Sunday we will launch September. It'll be September 1st. There's a part of that's like, let's research and see, did we miss a Sunday? How did that happen? Here's what I know, though. Here's how it unfolded. Reverend Angelo spoke on the first Sunday, and then I spoke, and he brought us this notion of the spiritual twisties. And then I came with the spiritual Olympics, and then last week, on third Sunday, Reverend Amon was here, and he reminded us what? To look up. Yes. If you were here, you know that, and obviously the people in the room were not. But those of you at home, you were tuning in and you remember that Reverend Amon admonished us to look up no matter what's happening, yes? And then here I come with an intention to put that together in a way that we can benefit from. So let's just see how I do. So when I was last here, I offered you the spiritual Olympics with this notion of rising to victory in the spiritual Olympics. And that's this idea is having a gold medal faith. I mean, that's a worthy endeavor. having a gold medal faith, which means in its own way that you hit all your marks. Whatever it was to do in that, you were able to hit all of that. In faith believing is my sense of that. So we talked about the twisties, and I'm gonna touch that again today. We talked about it certainly from the sense of for an athlete, and certainly in gymnastics, but there are other sports, and they might call it something else, but regardless, it's this idea of not being able to get one's bearings. When we look at that as the spiritual twisties, Reverend Angelo offered it to us as confusion. It's that place. This is why we admonish you and encourage you and offer opportunities for practice. So in the classes, it's not that we are believing that you don't know. We know that there's a huge difference between knowing and being. Knowing and actively believing so that it is evidenced in your living. So we offer those opportunities. We encourage you to see a practitioner. We encourage you to have prayer after service and during the week and calling in when things are up. We encourage you, even if things are going magnificently well, even if that thing that you absolutely wanted just happened, we encourage you to be in prayer about that with somebody. Why? So that you can practice anchoring that good. So many of us, when we don't anchor the good, we forget it happened. And a friend or family member has to remind you, what do you mean nothing works out in your life? Weren't you the one who? And you go, well, yeah, but isn't it always a yeah, but? At that point, it's, yeah, that's true, I did, but, and they go, well, what about the, and what about the, and what about the, and you're like, if you're on your game, you give it up. The yeah, but. You go, you know, you're absolutely right. Let me journal all that in. Because I don't want to live a life where somebody else has to remind me of the good. Yes? I want to be so grounded and so aware of the good that's unfolding in my life that that's where I start. That's my set point, right? That's where I stick my landing, is in my awareness of the divine good that surrounds and enfolds me, yes? So this notion of the spiritual twisties is where we lose all sight of that, where we don't have any idea. You begin to question, who am I? What am I? Is it even worth it? Those are some of the things that come up for us, but and it always includes a huge mental block. One that in that moment at least we cannot think our way around. We cannot sense our way around. Does that make sense? My sense is that you don't need me to tell you about that part. That you really have brought me here today to tell you about the other part, about how to get over part of it. Yes? So I'm going to move right to that part of it. Look, I have this sense that the twisties always usher us back to basics. Now, that's a thing that the coaches in gymnastics say when they're asked, so what do you do? What does an athlete do? What does a gymnast do when they have the twisties and they're out of sorts with it? What can they do? And they always say they have to go back to basics. And what we got to see with our beloved Simone Biles, what we got to see was her practice post-twisties went to her practicing with the foam pit. Now, you know, she's an elite athlete. She don't need no foam pit. She twists and turns and flips in the air and then sticks the landing. But once in the twisties, it's back to basics. Back to the foam pit. I'm trying to say something this morning. Because for us, often in our elite spirituality, when the going's good, we don't have a sense of, I'm going to go back to basics. I'm going to pull out the written prayer so that I'm really clear. I'm going to go get my affirmations. I'm going to get those 3x5 cards or the Post-its. I'm going to put all that back up on the mirror. I'm going to do what I know works to shift my awareness. It's what? Practice. What if I knew the difference that practice makes? Because for some of us, I'm just going to be really, I'm going to have to say it out loud. Some of you are allergic to practice. You just feel like I've already done that. And sometimes you'll say so. I've already done that. What else you got? No, you need to practice that. I'm not questioning that you've done it. We need you to practice it. Practice it. And when you fall off, back to basics. Maybe that's the part I have to say out loud. You're going to fall off. You're going to slip and fall. Because sometimes folks come to this kind of a teaching, this kind of life transformation, and they really, maybe they come from a place of struggle. I know I did. I started in this teaching in a time that I refer to, a time I lived under the bed. Under the bed is a euphemism for depression and confusion and all the stuff. And so as I began to feel better and rise up in it, there were those practices that when I look back, I can see exactly. Am I the only one? Been through something, came through the other side. I need you to pause and take a note, though. Don't just come through the other side and take off. Pause and say, let me check this out. Let me see now what I do. Because if I come this way again, I'm going to want to know this route. You know, some of us, if we get lost the first time, the next time we're headed to that destination, we get lost again because that's the way we go. Oh, y'all going to act like that's not you. That's not none of you. Y'all at home, help me out. I guess it's just us. Because the people right here, they don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. You and I understand, though. Go the way the first time and you get lost because you made a left where you should have made a right. And the next time you go, well, I've been here before, and you make the left instead of the right, and you go, oh, dang. And so what you're doing is you're practicing going the wrong way. It's almost as if we have a preset for practicing what doesn't work. And so we really want to shift that. When we think about the Olympics, and this is the notion about the spiritual Olympics that I love, is that there's no way to be an Olympian without practice. Anybody thinking you could be an Olympian and having not practiced anything? No, you're not going to be a Grammy winner without having practiced. You're not going to be an Oscar winner. Do you understand what I'm saying? That all of this requires us practicing what works. Practicing the excellence of it, yes? All right. So look, last Sunday, Reverend Amon, in talking to us about looking up, he calls us to rise above, or today, that's what this whole notion of rising above and elevating our consciousness, and simultaneously, at the same time, trusting in divine support. This is one of those places where I have not practiced this at all. And so typically, when I dig back in my mind and get this, I get the wrong tea company. Years ago in the 50s, and probably the early 60s, there was a tea commercial. I'm not going to get it wrong today because I'm not going to call the name. Don't tell me I don't learn. But in this tea commercial, the individual that is standing there falls back in a pool of water. Thank you. It's the Nestea plunge. See? Get it right today. So, this notion of trusting the divine, of trusting divine support, is like taking the Nestea plunge. The thing that I noticed as a youngster with that is that the person, if it were me, I'd have to look back. Now, the person may have, but we don't see that in the little video. What we see is the absolute release. And what if we practiced until we had the absolute sense of release, so that we're not like, well, wait, let me just see, is it cold? All of the things we want to do before we're willing to simply let go. Is this making sense? Okay, all right, here we go. Our intention here is to embrace the kind of faith that lifts us above life's challenges and calls forth our highest potential into reality. Do y'all remember the report cards? Y'all probably didn't get that on yours. Not performing to full potential. No, y'all didn't get that. Well, let me just tell you, there was a time when they did that on little report cards and the little narrative part of it. And are we still, is that still our goal? To still live life not at our full potential? So this is a call to action, a call to practice, a call to all of this. So in Psalms 121, verses 1 and 2, I will lift up mine eyes unto the mountains, from which shall my help come, is the way it's written. Now, there are so many translations, and there are songs sung with a little different lyric to it. Verse 2 says, my help cometh from Jehovah. My help cometh from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. If we were willing to practice, regardless of the specific translation, the idea is I'm looking up beyond the problem. Because I know my help is not in the problem. My help is not the problem. My help is looking beyond it. First of all, dare I say, to see it as not a problem. Start there, someone says. Begin with transmuting my sense of what I think it is. Because what I think it is going to often drive what I think I need to do. How I'm going to feel about it. So this idea of looking up is key to everything. What if I knew that simply the practice of looking up beyond the prognosis, looking up beyond the rent increase, looking up beyond the breakup, looking up beyond fill in the blank, just looking up beyond it, not trying to stare the thing down like it's going to turn into something else, even while we reinforce how it feels now, what it looks like right now. What if we knew that practicing looking up beyond whatever that is? Yeah, I see you, but I'm looking beyond that. I'm lifting my eyes higher than the vibration of whatever this is. Looking up is a different vibration than focusing on a problem, on a situation, on a circumstance. Can you feel that that would be the case? 2 or 3? Okay. All right, look. Today, Heart and Soul has annually, we have a shared daily read. And the practitioners take us through it more in depth. Once a month, there's a session, a study session. Today's read for August 25th is entitled, I Have Perfect Life. That's in 365 Days for Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. So it begins by saying the life of God is the life of, I'm saying, all humanity, for there is only one life. This life must be perfect, for it is the action of a perfect, intelligent, and beneficent power. The mind which acts as life, being a unity, could not conceive disease, for such would destroy its unity. Therefore, life is perfect, spiritual, and eternal. Now, for some of us, what we see is that emoji where the top of the head blows off. Because I can't even. I mean, where would you file that? How does this intersect with the life you're living? And often we judge from the life we think we're living. Not life with a capital L, indicating the divine life that we're living, that is living us. But this little life, this little piece of life we done broke a piece off of and are focused on in the moment. So how do the two come together? I will lift up mine eyes. I'll look beyond this little expression of life and stare into the beyond to see what else is there in this. How can this possibly be all that I know it can be? In John 9, 1 through 3. No. Never mind. I'm not going there. Never mind. Let me stay with this. Let me stay with Holmes and Barker. They go on to say, I'm going to read that first part again, because it blew the top of our head off and no telling what parts we still have. They write, the life of God is the life of all humanity. They actually, for the time, it was all male gender. So it says the life of man. What it means is all humanity. For there is only one life. Please say that with me. There is only one life. Now, if you don't hear nothing else in this reading, if you decided to just make that your mantra while I read the rest of this, if you just say whatever, there is one life. There is one life. If you somehow practice enough so that is your belief system, that becomes embedded, that becomes imprinted in your knowing. Does that make sense? So that if someone were to awaken you out of a deep sleep and say, how many lives are there? There's one life. There's one life. What? There's one life. I mean, what if it's so impressed on your consciousness that that's just who and how you are, how you see the world, how you perceive any and every situation? Yes? All right, there's one life. This life must be perfect. We're going to apply the law of transitivity here. For it's the action of a perfect intelligence. So if there's one life, if there's only one life, it means there is no other. So that life has to be big enough, sufficiently inclusive to include anything you can think of. All the little living that's happening. This has to be more than what you are up to right now. Does that help? Okay. And then to know that this life that we're talking about is perfect. And it's perfect because it's the action of a perfect intelligence. It's not perfect just because you say it's perfect, because you are parroting something. It is perfect because it is the action of a perfect intelligence in a beneficent power. The mind which acts as life, being unity, could not conceive disease, for such would destroy its unity. So for somebody, just that part right there, if one just lifted up their eyes beyond the limited current understanding that has their brow furrowed, like what does that mean? Look beyond and see. Look into the divine intelligence and see what can be revealed about that for this present application. Does that make sense? Yes. See, I'm not promising. What am I doing here? Because the not part doesn't count. I am doing my best to offer a sense of how life gets to be the way it is, what our role is in it, and that there's another opportunity as a way of living life, having a different approach to life. Yeah. They write, therefore, life is perfect. Now, here's the thing. The top of somebody's head just popped up. Like that little emoji. Life is perfect. What are you talking about? I'm just telling the truth. I'm not saying that you are having that as your experience. You see, that's an inside job. What is true in the overarching sense is that life is perfect. Now, you can either get mad about that or you can say, where's my perfect part? And then get busy looking for the perfection in life. Because in that look, in that focus, it begins to shift. Why? Because your life begins to shift is what I mean. Because it's a mental universe. And you have now shifted your mental focus. You now have your mind on the sunrise. Yes. And your mind on the sunrise is no longer on the prognosis. You're not trying to figure out the why me and the wherefores of it. You are now seeing God in the sunrise, in the flowers, in the mist, in the dew. In that little rainstorm we had yesterday, did y'all remember to see God in that, or were you just irritated? You see what I'm saying? Because, be willing to look at what's your go-to. Is your go-to the inconvenience, the upset, or look at God? All up in here in August in the rain, in the Bay Area. Trying to tell you something, look. The authors go on to say, I am the expression of life. Oh, y'all don't want to miss saying that, though. Come on. I am the expression of life. Let's keep going. So there can be nothing in me but perfect health at every instant. Now, look. That is the truth. It is only one's experience when one recognizes that it is the truth. So it is the truth. It will only be your personal truth and experience when you recognize, when you are cognizant of that being the truth for you. And if it's the truth for you, it's simply the truth. You don't get no personal truth. You don't have no unique individual truth. It's a universal truth, which means that it's yours as well, but only as you embrace it, only as you claim it. Does that make sense? So there can be nothing in me but perfect health in every instant. Let's do this. I am the expression of life. So there can be nothing in me but perfect health at every instant. Disease cannot operate in me, for I refuse to let it in. Now stop right here, because the top of the head is just, can you hear them? This is just a moment. I have to offer you just for drill. Just for drill, try it. Just for drill. I'm not promising or even suggesting it makes sense. But I did come today to tell you it doesn't have to. Because by the time it can make sense to you, what do you think makes sense to you? That you can understand, that you're already familiar with, that you've already proven, that you know that you know that you know. That's what makes sense. So this will not make sense until such time as you drill it in, as you practice it to such an extent that it is your reality. That's when it makes sense. Don't be expecting me to make sense to you when you're not doing the work. The authors go on to say, I recognize illness as an unnecessary and a failure on my part to know my life as the life of God. Now, this is not to make you wrong, it is to awaken you. But look at here. Watch yourself carefully, because if you go to a make wrong place, know that you have lowered your eyes. If instead you go, oh my goodness, that's an insight. That's an insight that I can use. You have now raised your eyes above the problem, above the situation, above the opportunity. And the goal is to continue to lift them ever higher. To see the divinity in this, yes? Yes, all right. There's plenty here. All right, so I knew this was going to be a two-parter, but I just didn't know this was, shoot. Okay, all I need is a little bit of encouragement. So look, the authors go on to say, and this is important for some of us, for all of us, in different ways. Life cannot know age. Okay, that top just blew off, I know. I know, because this is counterintuitive, and it flies in the face of everything we are told. I have reached just the level of maturity now where my doctor just talks crazy to me. We never had this relationship before. But now when I go, there's another test. I'm like, for what? And it's because on the list of ages, what is that anyhow? I have hit a mark that says I'm going to need all this. And they're going to be surprised that I'm not taking any medications. Because surely I would need some of this stuff that's on the list for something. Yes, you understand what I'm saying? But look at here. Life cannot know age. Life meaning the life of God, divine life. Don't know nothing about that. Nothing about that. It does not measure time. Life can only act in my body one way, as health. Let's say that together. Life can only act in my body. Okay, let's put the emphasis where it belongs here, okay? Life and my body. You got it? Okay, we're going to do this together. Life can only act in my body in one way, as health. This is you deciding that AARP and, whosoever else who has an opinion about the year that you were born and then connecting that to certain outcomes, that this trumps that. That this is the truth. That is based on something else. And you, pardon me, and you get to decide. You get to decide what you subscribe to. You really do. And I'm saying it like it's future. The truth is, you are ever deciding. In every millisecond, you are deciding whether you're living from the date you were born or whether you're living right now the life of the divine. And divine life is living you. You can live the predictions of the actuarial charts, or you can live divine life. And I'm sure there's some stuff in between. I'm just not talking about that. What are you living? If you're living divine life, know that divine life is living you no matter what. But are you living divine life? It's up to you. Life being greater than I and wiser than I cannot, what? It not tripping on what I'm thinking. How did they say it though? It cannot be defeated by my wrong thinking. It's not paying me no attention. I think you all understand when I say it like that. Divine life ain't paying you no attention with all your little thinking about what comes with the next birthday and your fear about the next birthday. It sounds crazy when I say that out loud, doesn't it? Having a fear about the next birthday, because the alternative, I'm just saying, you better be welcoming it. It always is itself. And upon my recognition, it becomes its perfect health in me. It ain't studying you and your little thinking. It's being it. Divine life. Available, unfolding always. The question is, will you adjust your energetic frame to be a part of it? As I say that, what I see is like double dutch. They just go turn. If you don't get in, you ain't in. But the rope is, y'all don't understand, do you? Y'all never seen no double dutch. The rope is turning. The question is, are you going to get in? That's the first. There's several questions. But that's the first question, because the rope going to keep turning. The question is, will you get in? And the get in is what? What do you think this represents? It is aligning your energy. It's aligning your energy to divine energy. What? What? The rope is turning. Now, you can just get in there, but, you get all tangled up in it. It's the alignment with the truth. What? And then And if you see the folks who do it, some of them do the splits, they jump up, they turn around, all the while not missing a jump. Do you understand what I'm saying? But it's up to you, the level of practice. Because some won't get in. Because you haven't practiced aligning the energy, moving your energy from your fears and doubts and the impress on your mind of what your age means and what a diagnosis or a prognosis means. It's the shift from within. Now, look, I am not up here pretending like this is easy. What I know is it's beable. It's beable. It will require practice. It will require focused attention. Some would say a singular focus. Some can't afford to have a bunch of different thoughts being entertained. Some can. Know who you are. Know if you're working on something, you are going to have to silence all the other and just be practical. They say, what you do? I'm practicing lifting up my eyes, from which cometh my help. I'm seeing help come. I'm seeing the resolution. I'm seeing the divine unfoldment. I'm seeing beyond what you came to talk about. So I can't talk right now. Because if I let this happen, it will move. You know, I can't hold both of them right now. So I'm going to have to just be silent. I'm going to have to just be focused. Yes? Yes? Yes. Oh, Lord. Jamie, I didn't talk way too long. Look, I'm going to leave you with this, because for summer school, what is this? Oh, yes, okay. So during summer school, our study was listening to our fears. And what we learned out of Dennis Merritt Jones's work is that our fears have messengers. And those messengers bring us, what I loved about our study this summer is it took us from this general place, non-specific place of fears, to the highly specific manifestation, demonstration, engagement. Yes. And so I want to leave you with this idea. Admonish you, really, to feed your dreams and not your fears and their messengers. Do you understand this notion of feeding? It's entertaining, it's giving energy to, it's being present to it, it's engaging it. And I'm suggesting to you that you cut it off. Don't give it nothing. And pour your resources into your dream of health and well-being, your dream of loving relationships, your dream of prosperity, which Catherine Ponder defines as an abundance of all things good. Feed your dreams and not your fears and their messengers. Practice doing that. Jamie Lula, Dr. Jamie, my brother, calling you back to bring us the reminder that indeed we are the harvest.
We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Come on, y'all. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. I am, oh, I am, that I am, oh, I am, that I am. Oh, we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Oh, I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. Sing it with me now. I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. We are the harvest we reap. Come on, y'all. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the love that we seek. We are the seeds we are sowing. Oh, we are the harvest we reap. Come on. We are the harvest we reap. Yes, we are. We are the harvest we reap. Hallelujah.